You ever wonder what makes someone a hero? Is it the uniform? The medals? The headlines? Well, let me tell you about a night that'll change how you see everything. Emergency room, blood everywhere. A woman whispering her last words, and the person who saves her? Nobody even knows his name. But here's the twist that'll blow your mind. This isn't just another feel-good story. This is about what happens when the world finally sees someone who's been invisible all along. And trust me, you're not ready for where this goes. So it's late, right? Like stupid late. Mercy General Hospital is mostly quiet except for the usual chaos. Drunk drivers getting patched up, random emergencies, the smell of disinfectant mixing with fear. And there's this guy Marcus. Mid-30s, dark skin, wearing a security uniform that's seen better days. Name tag hanging crooked because honestly, who's gonna straighten it? Nobody even looks at him most nights. He just walks the halls, checks doors, makes sure the building doesn't fall apart before sunrise. But here's what you need to understand about Marcus. Those hands of his? They're covered in scars. The kind you get from holding people together when they're literally falling apart. And if you looked close enough, you'd see faded military ink on his forearm. Numbers. Unit designation. The kind of thing that tells a story he doesn't talk about anymore. Most nights, around 2 in the morning, he sits in this sad little cafeteria with black coffee that tastes like regret. And he's got this piece of construction paper, right? Folded up real careful. Inside is a crayon drawing brown stick figure in a blue uniform standing next to a little girl with puffball hair. Above them, this wonky sun that's more of an oval than a circle. And at the bottom, in those shaky kid letters, "Daddy is my superhero." His daughter Maya gave it to him that morning. She's 8. She still believes that stuff. Still thinks her dad hung the moon. Marcus tucks it back in his pocket like it's made of glass, and that's when everything changes. His radio crackles. Sharp voice cutting through, security to emergency entrance now. Now, Marcus doesn't run. Running makes people panic, and panic kills. So he walks fast, long strides, controlled. The way they taught him. He pushes through those double doors and bam, cold night air, and then he sees it. Blood. So much blood. There's this black sedan, front end destroyed, parked like someone just gave up on parking. Driver's door hanging open like a broken jaw. And they're pulling this woman out of the back seat, 2 paramedics struggling because she's dead weight. Her head's rolling to the side. Her blouse? Completely soaked red from the neck down. Not stained. Soaked. One paramedic's yelling, "Where's the doctor?" Nurse on the phone, voice tight like a wire about to snap. "He's in surgery." 10 more minutes. 10 minutes. Might as well be 10 years when someone's bleeding out. The paramedic swears. They get her on a gurney, and Marcus follows because that's what you do. You follow the blood. Inside, under those brutal fluorescent lights, he gets a real look at her. Maybe mid-30s. Dark hair plastered to her forehead with sweat and fear. Skin pale like paper. Lips the color of nothing. She's conscious but barely. Eyes rolling around like she can't quite remember how to focus. The nurse leans over her. "Ma'am, can you hear me? We're getting help. Just hold on." And this woman, this bleeding, dying woman, she grabs the nurse's wrist. Weak grip. Trembling. And she whispers, "Please. Just make it fast. I don't want to feel the pain." Think about that for a second. She's not asking to be saved. She's asking for it to be quick. What kind of life makes you say that? The paramedic looks at the nurse. Shakes his head. "We need to stop the bleeding now or she's done." That's when Marcus steps up. Voice calm, steady. "I'm a medic. Let me help." The paramedic turns, eyes flicking to the security uniform, then back to Marcus's face. "Your security." Marcus doesn't argue. Doesn't explain. Just pulls off his jacket, drapes it over her, rolls up his sleeves. And there it is, that faded ink on his forearm. Military numbers. The paramedic sees it and immediately steps aside because he knows. He knows what those numbers mean. Marcus moves like water. Smooth. Practiced. Hands pressing down on the wound. Blood welling up between his fingers, warm and slick. He doesn't flinch. Doesn't hesitate. "Get me gauze and elevate her legs." He's packing the wound, movements precise like surgery, checking her pupils. One's blown. Not good. Clearing her airway, tilting her head just right. And then he talks to her. Voice steady as a heartbeat. You're going to be okay. Stay with me. Her eyes find his. For just a moment, they focus. She stares at him like she's trying to remember something important, something she forgot a long time ago. Then the doctor bursts in. I've got it from here. Marcus steps back, wipes his hands, watches them wheel her into the trauma bay. Doors swing shut. Hallway goes quiet. Just like that, it's over. The paramedic claps his shoulder. Nice work. But Marcus doesn't respond. He picks up his jacket, shakes it out, puts it back on. Then he walks back to his post like nothing happened. Because for him, nothing did happen. This was just Tuesday. By the time his shift ends, sun's coming up. He clocks out, changes into street clothes, drives home in a beat-up truck with a windshield that's more cracked than glass. And when he walks through the door, Maya's already awake, sitting at the kitchen table in her pajamas, coloring in a workbook. Her eyes light up when she sees him. Hi, Daddy. He kisses the top of her head, those soft curls against his lips. Morning, sweetheart. She points at her page. Look, I finished all the math problems. He checks her work. Every single answer is correct. And something tightens in his chest because his baby girl is brilliant and beautiful and everything good in this world. You're too smart for me. She laughs. No, I'm not. He makes breakfast. Scrambled eggs, toast. They eat together while sunlight streams through the window, and she tells him about school, about her friend Jasmine, about their science project. He listens to every word like it's the most important thing he's ever heard. Because it is. When it's time for the bus, she holds his hand. She's getting too old for that, probably. But she still does it, and he doesn't tell her to stop. After the bus pulls away, he goes back inside, collapses on the couch, and sleep hits him like a truck. 3 days later, he's back at work. Same hallways, same routine. He's almost forgotten about the woman in the ER. Almost. Then he sees her. She's standing near the main entrance talking to some guy in an expensive suit. And she's transformed. Tailored blazer, heels clicking on tile like punctuation marks. Hair pulled back perfect. Posture like an exclamation point. She looks nothing like the broken woman on that gurney, but it's definitely her. Marcus keeps walking. Head down. No reason to stare. But she sees him anyway. He feels her eyes tracking him across the lobby like a laser sight. He turns the corner and keeps moving. Later that night, his supervisor calls him in. Johnson, you got a visitor. Marcus frowns. Who? The supervisor points through the window. There she is. Standing in the hallway, arms crossed, alone this time. Marcus steps out. She turns to face him. You're the one who helped me. Not a question. He nods once. She studies him, expression unreadable. I wanted to say thank you. Marcus shakes his head. You don't need to. She doesn't know what to do with that. Shifts her weight, looks at the floor, then back at him. The doctors told me you saved my life. He doesn't respond. She extends her hand. I'm Catherine Blake. He looks at her hand. Doesn't take it. I know who you are. Her jaw tightens. She lowers her hand. Then you know I don't like owing people. Marcus's voice stays level. You don't owe me anything. Catherine stares at him. Something flickers in her eyes. Confusion maybe. Irritation. I'd like to do something for you. Compensation, recognition, whatever you want. Marcus shakes his head. I don't need that. Her voice sharpens. Everyone needs something. He meets her gaze. Tone doesn't change. I just need you to live better than you were that night. For the first time, Catherine Blake has nothing to say. Marcus turns and walks away. Doesn't look back. And Catherine stands in that hallway for a long time, trying to figure out what just happened. She doesn't forget, though. Over the next 2 weeks, she can't forget. Now, Marcus goes back to his life. Works his shifts. Picks up Maya from school. Helps with homework. Makes dinner. Tucks her in. Reads stories until she falls asleep. It's a small life. A quiet one. And he doesn't need it to be anything else. But late at night, when the hospital's silent and he's walking those empty corridors, he thinks about her sometimes. The woman with the sharp eyes and expensive clothes. He wonders if she remembers what she said. Please, just make it fast. He wonders what kind of life makes someone say that. And he wonders if she's living any differently now. He doesn't expect to find out. But oh, he's going to. See, Catherine Blake doesn't sleep well anymore. She used to pride herself on it. 6 hours sharp, no dreams, no interruptions. Just efficient rest to power through 16-hour days and back-to-back board meetings. But now, every time she closes her eyes, she sees that emergency room ceiling. Those fluorescent lights. The taste of copper in her mouth. And the face of a man she didn't know, his hands steady and sure, telling her she was going to be okay. She hates that she remembers it so clearly. 2 weeks since she tried to thank him. 2 weeks since he walked away like she hadn't just offered him everything most people spend their lives chasing. Recognition. Money. A favor from one of the most powerful women in the state. He refused it all. And Catherine doesn't understand people like that. She's sitting in her corner office, 43rd floor, staring at a contract she should have signed an hour ago. The city stretches out below her. This grid of glass and steel she helped build. She knows how to win. How to take control. How to make people need her more than she needs them. But Marcus Johnson didn't need anything. And that unsettles her more than the accident itself. Her assistant knocks, enters without waiting. The gala's tonight. Car leaves at 7. Catherine glances at the clock. Already 5:30. Fine. The assistant lingers. Also, the hospital called. They're naming you keynote speaker. They want you to talk about your recovery. Catherine's jaw tightens. I didn't agree to that. They said it would be good for your image. Show vulnerability, relatability. Catherine looks up sharply. I don't need to show anything. The assistant nods quickly and leaves. Catherine leans back. She knows what they want. A story. A narrative. The CEO who survived, who came back stronger. It's good PR. It always is. But she doesn't want to tell that story. Because the truth is, she didn't come back stronger. She came back afraid. At 7:15, Catherine steps out of a black sedan in front of Mercy General. The building's lit up for the event. Banners everywhere. Inside, the main atrium's been transformed. White tablecloths, crystal glasses, string quartet playing near the silent auction tables. Donors in tuxedos and evening gowns, mingling under chandeliers that cost more than most people's houses. Catherine moves through the crowd with practiced ease. Smiling, shaking hands, thanking people for their generosity. She's done this 100 times. But tonight, she can't focus. Her eyes keep scanning the room. She doesn't know why he wouldn't be here. He's a night security guard. This isn't his world. Then she sees him. He's standing near the back, just outside the main floor. Same navy uniform. Hands clasped behind his back. In the soft lighting, he's almost invisible in the shadows. He's not watching the guests. He's watching the exits. Catherine's breath catches. She turns back to the conversation she's supposed to be having, but the words coming out of her mouth feel distant, automatic. Her mind's somewhere else. Halfway through dinner, someone collapses. It happens fast. A man in his 60s, 3 tables over, clutches his chest and pitches forward. His wife screams. People jump up, chairs scraping against the floor. Someone shouts for a doctor. Catherine stands, pulse spiking. Then Marcus is there. He moves through the crowd like water, calm, unrushed. Kneels beside the man. Loosens his tie. Checks pulse. Tilts head back. Starts compressions. The room goes silent except for Marcus counting under his breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. His hands move in steady rhythm, pressing down with controlled force. Someone runs up with a defibrillator. Marcus takes it without looking up, attaches the pads, steps back. Clear. The man's body jerks. Nothing. Marcus checks again. Starts compressions again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Catherine can't look away. She'd seen him save her life, but she'd been half-conscious, barely aware. Now she sees everything. The precision. The focus. The absolute certainty in every movement. He's not panicking. Not second-guessing. He's doing what he was trained to do, and he's saving a life. The man gasps. Eyes flutter open. Marcus helps him onto his side, keeping him stable. Paramedics arrive moments later and take over. Marcus stands, wipes his hands on his pants, and steps back into the crowd. No one stops him. No one asks his name. He just disappears. Catherine's hands are shaking. She sits down her glass before anyone notices. She finds him 20 minutes later, standing outside near the loading dock. He's alone, leaning against the brick wall, arms crossed. Uniform wrinkled. There's a smudge of something on his sleeve. He looks up when she approaches. Expression doesn't change. Catherine stops a few feet away. She doesn't know what to say. Finally, "You did it again." Marcus glances back toward the building. "He'll be fine." Catherine shakes her head. "That's not what I meant." He looks at her. Really looks at her. Eyes steady. No anger, no expectation. Just quiet patience. She takes a breath. "I need to know something." He waits. "Why are you here?" Marcus frowns slightly. "I work here." Catherine's voice sharpens. "No, I mean, why are you doing this? You were a combat medic. You have a silver star. I looked you up. You saved 18 soldiers in a single firefight. You were decorated, honored. And now you're working night security at a hospital for minimum wage." Marcus's jaw tightens, but his voice stays even. "That was a long time ago." Catherine steps closer. "So what happened? Why aren't you out there doing what you were trained to do?" Marcus doesn't answer right away. He looks past her toward the parking lot. When he speaks, his voice is quiet, "Because I have a daughter, and she needs me more than anyone else does." Catherine feels something crack open inside her chest. She wants to say something, apologize maybe. But Marcus is already walking away. That night, Catherine sits alone in her penthouse. The city glitters below, endless and indifferent. She pours herself a glass of wine and doesn't drink it. She keeps thinking about what he said. "She needs me more than anyone else does." Such a simple answer. So clear. And it makes her feel small. Because Catherine doesn't have anyone who needs her like that. She has employees, investors, a PR team. But no one who would care if she came home late. No one who draws pictures of her in crayon. She'd built everything she had, and it cost her everything else. The guilt settles in slowly, heavy and cold. She had tried to erase him. After the accident, she made sure his name stayed out of the press. Didn't want people asking questions. Didn't want the story to be about a security guard saving a CEO. It didn't fit the narrative. So she buried it. And now she realizes what that means. She took credit for her own survival. Let people believe she fought through it alone. Let them call her strong, resilient, a survivor. But she wasn't any of those things. She was a coward. And Marcus Johnson knew it. The next morning, Catherine calls an emergency meeting with her communications team. They gather in the conference room, laptops open, coffee in hand. She stands at the head of the table. "I need to make a statement." Her PR director looks up. "About what?" Catherine's voice is firm. "About the accident. About who really saved me." The room goes quiet. Her PR director sets down his pen. "Catherine, we've already moved past that. The narrative is set. You don't need to." Catherine cuts him off. "I'm not asking for advice. I'm telling you what's happening." He stares at her. "This is a mistake." Catherine meets his gaze. "Maybe. But it's mine to make." 2 days later, Catherine stands in front of a wall of cameras. Reporters fill the room, notebooks ready, microphones clustered on the podium. She takes a breath. 3 weeks ago, I was in a car accident. I was brought to Mercy General Hospital in critical condition. The doctors were delayed. I didn't think I was going to make it. She looks directly into the nearest camera. But I did. Because a man named Marcus Johnson saved my life. The room erupts in questions. Catherine holds up a hand. He's a night security guard at the hospital. He's also a decorated combat medic. And when no one else could help me, he stepped in. He didn't ask for recognition. He didn't ask for anything. And I never gave him credit. Her voice cracks slightly, but she keeps going. I let people believe I survived on my own. That I was strong enough to pull through. But the truth is, I would have died that night if it wasn't for him. And I owe him everything. She looks down at her hands. I'm sorry it took me this long to say it. The press conference ends. Catherine walks off stage and doesn't look back. Marcus sees it on the television in the hospital cafeteria. He's sitting alone, eating a sandwich Maya packed for him that morning. The news is playing on the wall-mounted screen. He's not paying attention until he hears his name. He looks up. Catherine's face fills the screen. She's speaking into a microphone, voice steady and clear. A man named Marcus Johnson saved my life. Marcus sets down his sandwich. Maya's at the table with him. She came to visit after school, the way she does sometimes. She's coloring in a notebook, tongue poking out in concentration. Her hair's pulled back in two neat braids he did that morning before his shift ended. She looks up at the screen. Daddy, is that you? Marcus doesn't answer. Just stares. Catherine keeps talking. She tells the whole story. The accident. The emergency room. The way he refused her thanks. The way she buried his name. And then she apologizes. Maya tugs on his sleeve. Daddy. Marcus looks down at her. Her eyes are wide and bright. You're a hero. He swallows hard. Throat feels tight. I'm just a guy who did his job. Maya shakes her head. No, you're a superhero. She holds up her notebook. On the page is another crayon drawing. A brown stick figure in a blue uniform, a little girl with braids, and now, standing next to them, a woman in a fancy dress. Marcus's chest aches. He pulls Maya into a hug. She wraps her arms around his neck and squeezes tight. On the screen, Catherine finishes her statement and walks away. Marcus doesn't know what to feel. But for the first time in a long time, he feels seen. The phone starts ringing at 6 in the morning. Marcus ignores the first 3 calls. By the 4th, Maya's awake, standing in his bedroom doorway in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. Daddy, your phone won't stop. He sits up and checks the screen. 15 missed calls. 23 text messages. All from numbers he doesn't recognize. He scrolls through a few messages. Is this Marcus Johnson? We'd love to interview you. Channel 7 News wants to tell your story. We're offering $50,000 for an exclusive sit-down. He sets the phone down and looks at Maya. Go get dressed. I'll make breakfast. She nods and pads back to her room. Marcus goes to the kitchen and starts making pancakes. The phone keeps buzzing on the counter. He turns it off. By the time Maya comes downstairs, the pancakes are ready. She climbs into her chair and pours syrup over the stack. Marcus sits across from her with black coffee. She looks at him while she chews. Are you famous now? Marcus shakes his head. No. Maya frowns. But the lady on TV said your name. And she said you saved her. Marcus sips his coffee. That doesn't make me famous. It just means people know what happened. Maya thinks about that. Jasmine's mom saw it. She told Jasmine you're a hero. Marcus doesn't know what to say to that, so he just reaches across the table and ruffles her hair. Eat your breakfast. She grins and goes back to her pancakes. Over the next 3 days, the calls don't stop. Reporters show up at the hospital. A man in a suit waits outside Marcus's apartment building with a camera crew. Someone leaves a business card under his windshield wiper with a note. Let's talk. 6 figures. Marcus throws it away. He keeps his head down. Works his shifts. Walks Maya to the bus stop. Helps her with homework. Makes dinner. Tucks her in. Reads stories until she falls asleep. But everywhere he goes, people are watching, pointing, whispering. At the hospital, his supervisor calls him into the office. Johnson, you've got a problem. Marcus sits down. What kind of problem? The supervisor leans back in his chair. You're a distraction. People are coming here just to see you. We've had 3 news vans in the parking lot this week. Administration is concerned. Marcus's jaw tightens. I'm just doing my job. The supervisor nods. I know. But they're asking me to put you on leave until this blows over. Marcus stares at him. You're suspending me? The supervisor holds up a hand. Paid leave. Just for a week or 2. Let things calm down. Marcus stands. I need this job. The supervisor looks uncomfortable. I know. But it's not my call. Marcus leaves without another word. That night, he sits on the couch with Maya curled up next to him. She's watching cartoons. He's not watching anything. just staring at the wall, trying to figure out what comes next. He'd built his life around routine, predictability. He knew what every day looked like. He knew how to keep Maya safe and fed and happy. He knew how to stay invisible. But now he's not invisible anymore. And he doesn't know how to fix that. Maya looks up at him. "Daddy, are you okay?" He forces a smile. "Yeah, sweetheart. I'm okay." She doesn't look convinced, but she doesn't push. She just snuggles closer and goes back to her show. 2 days later, someone knocks on his door. Marcus opens it. Catherine Blake stands on the other side. She looks different. No suit, no heels. Just jeans and a plain sweater. Hair down. She looks tired. Marcus doesn't say anything. Catherine shifts her weight. "Can I come in?" He steps aside. She walks past him into the small living room. Maya's at the kitchen table, coloring. She looks up and stares. Catherine gives her a small smile. "Hi." Maya doesn't smile back. She looks at her dad. Marcus walks over and puts a hand on her shoulder. "Maya, this is Catherine. She's the woman from the news." Maya's eyes go wide. "The one you saved?" Catherine nods. "That's right." Maya studies her for a long moment, her eyes serious and assessing. Then she goes back to her coloring. Marcus gestures toward the couch. Catherine sits down. He stays standing. She looks up at him. "I'm sorry." Marcus crosses his arms. "For what?" Catherine's voice is quiet. "For all of it. For putting you in this position. For making your life harder. I thought I was doing the right thing by telling the truth. But I didn't think about what it would cost you." Marcus doesn't respond right away. He just looks at her. Finally, he sits down in the chair across from her. "Why are you here?" Catherine takes a breath. "Because I want to make it right." Marcus shakes his head. "You can't. What's done is done." Catherine leans forward. "Maybe. But I can try." She reaches into her bag and pulls out a folder. Sets it on the coffee table between them. "I'm starting a foundation. The Heart Foundation. It's focused on emergency medical training for communities that don't have access to it. I want to build a network of first responders, teach people how to save lives when help isn't coming fast enough." Marcus glances at the folder but doesn't touch it. Catherine keeps talking. "I need someone to design the training programs. Someone who knows what they're doing. Someone who's been in the field. Someone like you." Marcus looks up at her. "I'm not interested." Catherine's voice sharpens. "Why not?" Marcus gestures toward Maya. "Because I have a daughter, and I don't want her growing up with a dad who's never home." Catherine's expression softens. "You wouldn't have to be. This isn't a full-time position. It's consulting. You design the curriculum, train the trainers, then you step back. You'd still have time for her." Marcus doesn't answer. Catherine stands. "Just think about it. Please." She leaves the folder on the table and walks to the door. She looks back at him one more time. "You're right. What's done is done. But that doesn't mean we can't do something good with it." She leaves. Marcus sits there for a long time, staring at the folder. Maya comes over and climbs into his lap. She looks at the folder too. "What's that?" Marcus wraps his arms around her. "I don't know yet." That night, after Maya goes to bed, Marcus opens the folder. Inside are blueprints for a training center, a proposed curriculum, a list of cities that don't have adequate emergency services, and a handwritten note from Catherine. "You taught me what it means to save a life. Let me help you teach others." Marcus closes the folder. But he doesn't throw it away. 3 weeks later, Marcus stands in front of a room full of volunteers. Firefighters, EMTs, teachers, civilians who want to learn how to help. The training center isn't finished yet. They're meeting in a rented warehouse with folding chairs and a projector screen. Marcus has never taught before. Doesn't know how to stand in front of people and explain what he knows. But Catherine asked him to try. And Maya told him he should. So he does. He starts with the basics: how to check for a pulse, how to clear an airway, how to apply pressure to a wound. He demonstrates on a mannequin. Then he walks through the room, correcting grips, answering questions, showing them how to move with confidence. By the end of the session, his voice is hoarse, but the volunteers are smiling, nodding, taking notes. One of them comes up to him afterward. "Thank you. I've always wanted to know how to do this." Marcus nods. You'll be ready when it matters. Catherine's waiting for him outside. She leans against her car, arms crossed, watching him. How'd it go? Marcus shrugs. Okay, I think. Catherine smiles. They loved you. Marcus doesn't know what to say to that. They stand there in the parking lot, the sun setting behind the warehouse. For the first time, the silence between them isn't uncomfortable. Catherine looks at him. I know I can't undo what I did, but I hope this helps. Marcus meets her eyes. It does. She nods. Then she gets in her car and drives away. 1 year later, the Johnson Center for Community Healing opens its doors. It's a 3-story building on the edge of the city, built with donations from across the state. Inside are training rooms, simulation labs, and a wall covered in photos of people who completed the program. Over 2,000 volunteers have been trained. 37 lives have been saved because of what they learned. The ribbon-cutting ceremony is packed. Local officials, press, families who'd lost loved ones, families who'd been saved. Maya stands next to Marcus, holding his hand. She wears a yellow dress, her hair styled in beautiful cornrows with colorful beads at the ends that click softly when she moves. She keeps bouncing on her toes. Catherine stands at the podium. This center exists because one man knew how to act when no one else could. Marcus Johnson didn't ask for recognition. He didn't ask for anything. But he gave everything when it mattered most. She looks over at him. And now, because of him, thousands of others will be able to do the same. The crowd applauds. Marcus shifts uncomfortably. Maya squeezes his hand. Catherine gestures toward the microphone. Marcus, would you like to say a few words? He hesitates. Then he walks up to the podium. The crowd goes quiet. He looks out at them. Faces he doesn't know. People who are here because of something he did. He clears his throat. I'm not good with microphones. I'm better with heartbeats. A few people laugh. He glances at Maya. She's watching him with wide eyes. I didn't do any of this for recognition. I did it because someone needed help. That's all. And if I can teach one person how to do the same, then maybe the next time someone's lying on the ground, scared and bleeding, they won't have to wait for a hero. Because the person next to them will already know what to do. He steps back. The applause is louder this time. After the ceremony, Marcus stands outside with Maya. Catherine joins them. She looks at the building. We did it. Marcus nods. You did it. Catherine shakes her head. No. We did. Maya tugs on Marcus's sleeve, the beads in her hair clicking musically. Daddy, can we go get ice cream now? Marcus smiles. Yes, sweetheart. We can go get ice cream. Catherine looks at them. Something soft crosses her face. Can I come? Marcus glances at Maya. She nods. Okay. They walk to the parking lot together. The sun's setting, casting long shadows across the pavement. Maya skips ahead, humming to herself, her beads clicking a cheerful rhythm. Catherine walks beside Marcus. Thank you. Marcus looks at her. For what? She smiles. For not giving up on me. Marcus doesn't answer. But he doesn't need to. They get in the car and drive toward the ice cream shop. Maya talks the whole way, telling Catherine about school and her science project and her friend Jasmine. And for the first time in a long time, Marcus thinks about that piece of construction paper in his pocket. Daddy is my superhero. Maybe Maya was right all along. Not because he wore a uniform or saved lives or got his name in the news, but because he showed up. Every single day. For the people who needed him most. And maybe that's what heroes really do. They don't wait for the spotlight. They don't need the recognition. They just show up when it matters, do what needs to be done, and then go home to the people they love. Marcus Johnson saved lives. But more than that, he saved himself. He found a way to use his pain for purpose, his past for good. He taught a powerful woman what really matters. And he showed his daughter that being a hero isn't about the medals or the headlines. It's about showing up. It's about caring. It's about doing what's right even when no one's watching. Especially when no one's watching. So here's what I want you to take away from this. You don't need a uniform to be a hero. You don't need military training or a corner office or a press conference. You just need to care enough to act when someone needs help. To step up when everyone else is stepping back. To make the choice that matters even when it costs you something. Because somewhere right now, someone's waiting. Someone's scared. Someone's bleeding. And they need you to be ready. Marcus taught 2,000 people how to save lives. How many people will they teach? How many lives will be saved because one man decided that his past didn't have to define his future? That's the real story here. Not about one hero, but about what happens when one hero decides to create more heroes. So what about you? What are you going to do with what you've learned today? Are you going to scroll past this and forget it? Or are you going to be the person who shows up when it matters? Think about it. And hey, if this story hit you the way it hit me, do me a favor. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment telling me what being a hero means to you. And maybe, just maybe, consider learning CPR or first aid. Because you never know when you'll be the Marcus Johnson in someone else's story. Take care of each other out there. And remember, heroes aren't born. They're made. One choice at a time. If you or someone you know is having a difficult time, free support is available. Find resources.